and welcome once again to Voice of the Coast. Joining us tonight, Mac Wade, the Executive Director of the Port of Morgan City. Going to give us a full show. We've been doing 15-minute interviews with a lot of our guests lately, but we're going all 30 with Mac, and we appreciate you coming in.
Not a problem. I appreciate the invite, and I always love coming on the show to give people an update on what's going on with our industry and our channel and everything.
It has been a big year, last 12 months. For the port, and we're gonna deal with the bad before we try to get to the good.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, when the bad happened, it really nailed us.
And it compounded. We get out of one situation, another one hits us. But last September, almost a year ago, we had Hurricane Francine come in. September the 10th last year, we had a 23-foot channel from here all the way to the sea buoy, which is 40 miles away. 23 foot.
And that's what we fought for decades.
And took us 3-4 years to get it open. I mean, you know, poured bucketfuls of money, over $100 million. September 10th, great. September 11th, Hurricane Francine comes in. And Chris, I've been here 50 years this summer. I've been in town. Been through a lot of hurricanes. We've had some real bad ones. Francine was the worst thing I've ever seen for the channel. Not that the winds were that bad or water or whatever up here, but as far as what it did along the coast to our channel, that storm got down there and stalled, and it was like a washing machine. It just sat there and turned, not moving for about 12 hours. September 12th, we get a survey, I'm at 13 foot. I went to bed at 23 foot. In about 8 to 10 hours, we lost what we had worked for years to get. Something that devastating. I mean, a killer. We've got all kind of projects. We got big sail outs. We got stuff that needs 14, 15, 16, 18 foot of water. I got 13.
And I'd love to ask you about the science of how that happens, but I don't think we have time to explain it here. But the bottom line is, you talked about years, millions of dollars.
Millions and millions of dollars it took to open it. And where this happened at was in our bar channel. When you get to Eugene Island is where the sand, I don't want to say the sand stops, but that's where the sand falls out all the way back up. But from Eugene Island to the sea buoy, which is about 15 miles, that's where what we call fluff. You've heard of the term fluff down here. That's the clays and silts. The Mississippi River drains 41% of the nation. We drain 30% of the Mississippi.
Right.
That stuff, as it comes down the Chaffalaya River, the sand falls out in Berwick Harbor up at Stouts Pass. It falls out all the way down to Crew Boat Cut, around the 142. That's about where it starts stopping. Then at Eugene Island, 5 miles offshore, I got a 20-foot trench down there, 400 foot wide. That fills up with mud. 10 foot of mud will accumulate in this thing. Mm-hmm. That's where we went down there and we came up with the agitation dredge, a specially built dredge. The agitation dredge stirs that material up, gets it up in the water column, the tides, currents, and winds take it, and that's what was there. It wasn't this time. It brought sand in. Sand is hard material. It was a tremendous blow to us. The Corps has been our friend. Chris, a lot of people don't have kind things to say. Corps has helped us. Without the Corps' help, we wouldn't have anything. They were able to mobilize some dredges in. Luckily, the port had money. We needed about $30 million to get the channel open because we had that money that comes from Congress to us. We were going to use on other dredging projects, but we had to use it on the channel. So long story short, let's see, that was September 11th. About November, 1st of December, we had the channel back open. Got all our sail outs out. We'd never missed anything. This is December of 24, water was a little high. Come January of 25, I just get out of one disaster. Then we go into a high water event. We hadn't had high water in 6 years. 6 years we went without high water. 25 was a doozy. We stayed high, we fought high water. I don't want to say we fought it, but we had high water for about almost 6 months. We had high water in June. We had it in July. Said, oh, Mac, it wasn't that high. We were over 4 foot. In June, we should be 2 or less. The river's still over 3 foot right now, which is, I think that's kind of high for this time of year.
And I think, to be clear, when we talk about high water, everybody immediately thinks about the flooding and how it affects them personally.
Right.
We're talking about how high water, not necessarily how the high water itself affects industry, but how having to deal with the high water affects industry.
We are left with all, when houses flood, you see everything's inside the house, the water drains out and you got muck. That's what the river does to us. We didn't get flooded, but we went extremely high, period. And when the river's high, lots of sediments in that water column. A ton of water is in it, and it's full of sediment, and now it's what I'm dealing with now. We got dredges working now, getting rid of it.
Yeah. We're kind of in the middle of a topic here, but we do need to take a break. So stay with us. We'll be right back with more Voice of the Coast. Welcome back to Voice of the Coast. We're with Mac Wade, Executive Director for the Port of Morgan City, talking about the 1-2 punch that Mother Nature dealt the area over the last 12 months. First punch being Hurricane Francine. I'm talking about, of course, the port. Second, the high water event. And what we're talking about here, I want to get people to try to understand the fine line you have to walk when you talk about having to close floodgates to protect people's homes,
Right.
which of course absolutely you want to do, but that has an adverse effect on business.
Real good question, Chris. It can, and especially if you do it too soon. You don't want to do it too late, but doing it too soon, it can have impact. During this high water event, it was, and we closed Bayou Chene. I don't want to say we closed it early. We closed it because of the weather forecast from the National Weather Forecast. We were already facing around 6 foot, close to 6 foot, or 5.5, but it was going up a couple inches every day. And they said within a week you're going to be at 7.5. So we have to think of the people in Stephenville all the way up. And it's not just Stephenville. You got Assumption, you got Terrebonne, you got Lafourche, you got Iberville. There's 5 parishes up above that this water will back up to. And if you wait till 6.5 foot, now you trap all that water on the inside. And yeah, we're not letting it go to 7.5, but it never reached 7.5. It never reached 7. It got to 6.5 and it just held. But it stayed there. So did we have to close it? We did the right thing by closing it. Because people say, well, Mac, you're going to try to flood people out. No, that's not our intent. That's not the levee district's intent. We don't want to see anybody flooded. But we got to remember, we still have a business to run. And these businesses that rely, they're building stuff, and they got to get out the gate. So it's a real delicate balance. But I will say this, Chris, you've been around a long time. You remember all the times we had to sink a barge out there.
Yep.
This time, the levee district, within 8 or 10 hours, they pressed a few buttons. Poor Mike Mercado had to be out there around, all night long, but press a few buttons and this and that and watch it. This thing closes, he fills it with water, he sinks it. It would take 6, 7, 8 days trying to put a barge in and sink it. Now it's done in a matter of hours, 8, 10 hours, 12 hours tops. Mm-hmm. Close it, locked in, keeps the water out, keeps the water on the backside. It's not going anywhere. But the levee, and then when we opened it, about the same thing. It took about 8 to 10 hours for them to open it. Nothing like, used to, take us 2 weeks to get it put in. Then, well, the threat's gone. Well, it might take you another 2 to 3 months before you ever get it out of there. But we didn't have business in. When we've opened up this channel, we got a good channel, it's brought business in. All the businesses I'm talking about are on the waterfront, are on the water. On the JIWW, they use the Bayou Chene. That's a 20-foot by 400-foot channel, all the way out to the sea buoy. That's where all these businesses are located because they're sending big stuff out.
And I want to mention one more thing with about a minute and a half or so we have left before we get to
Yeah.
the good stuff in the last part. You mentioned 20 foot by 400 foot, and that's probably the part that a lot of people don't consider. We always talk about, do we have enough water depth-wise?
Right.
But width is a factor, and there are no plans or no budget available to make the alternate channels any wider than they are.
Chris, real good point. And people say, Mac, why don't you ask for more? Listen, we just got our channel. We're authorized at 20 by 400 foot. We've been authorized that for umpteen years. But when McDermott and Avondale left us, we lost our funding. I didn't have 10 foot. People say, well, you ought to be out. I'm thankful and very appreciative. Give me what we deserve and what the law says. Give me my 420. We can manage with that, but you got to keep it there. You can't let me have 18 foot when I got a 19-foot sellout. I've got to have my 20. And Chris, when the Corps does this, when they dredge me to 20, we don't advertise this, but they give me 2-foot maintenance and 2-foot variance. I get 24 foot.
Yep.
But they give me that because you know we're going to lose it. It's going to silt in. And they give me my 400 foot wide. So it would, listen, if we can stay very busy in this area, if we can keep our 20 by 400. We're proving it now, what we can do in this area.
Enough doom and gloom. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to start talking about the good stuff that's going on. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Voice of the Coast. We're getting an update on the Port of Morgan City goings on with Mac Wade, the executive director. You know, when you talk about the port, you're talking about all the waterways in this area that you manage.
Yes.
My brain tends to go to that facility down there, the 200-foot docking area, and the I don't think there's a crane. There used to be a crane.
Right,
there.
right.
But the big store, 200,000 square foot. What's going on with that? Are we getting that kind of business coming in and out?
Yes, in fact, we have got construction. It's taken 3 years to get a permit. We've been talking about West Dock expansion. We have a 800-foot dock right now. We're going to 1,100. We're adding 1,100 foot to it. We have the funding in place from the federal government and the state. We'll be going out for bid, hoping within the next couple weeks. It's taken 3 years to get the federal permit. 3 years, Chris, and a ton of money. But you got to have it if you're going to do this. We got money from MARAD. They've given us $10 million. We have received $15 million from Louisiana DOTD under Port Priority Program. And we have received $2 million from Louisiana Capital Outlay monies from the state. So that's $27 million. I said 30. Port will be putting up $3 million, but that's going to expand us. And we got new equipment coming in. We had a board meeting this week. We approved the 250-ton crane that we got. That's another, I don't want to say a gift, but we got the federal government paying for a lot of that crane for us. I think we're paying 20% on about a $3 million crane and about a 60,000-pound forklift.
Do we have business waiting?
We have business. The warehouse has been full. Our rail business has been very good. We've got a couple contracts we're looking at. Problem is we haven't had the equipment. Now we got the equipment, and we're fixing to expand the dock. The area, our businesses in the area. People say, "Well, Mac, things are not that good." I'm telling you, our fabrication, this area, like I said, I've been here 50 years, between New Iberia, Morgan City, and Houma, this is your fabrication hub for South Louisiana. That's all we've been doing for years. It was doing this way before I got here. But we're and most of it was oil field. Well, oil field's not there no more. We still do oil field work, but nothing like we had. So there's a lot of fabrication going on and our fabrication yards are very, very busy. I talk to all the yards because they got a lot of sellouts, and I'm always, well, during when we close the floodgate, I got to kind of, hey, can you wait 2 weeks, or are you how many days before? I mean, we'll close it that afternoon after you get out. Coordinating stuff with them because this takes it's big sellouts that we got going on, big barges, but a lot of work. But and this is not, well, Mac, who's it going for? The Defense Department. We got the Navy down here. You got the Army down here. We got all kind of defense contractors building stuff with all the different shipyards going on. You got Bollinger has 3 of the biggest. They got 16, 17 shipyards in the state. They just won a contract for $951 million with the U.S. Navy. Well, Mac, that's not going to build that here. No, that's going to go to their Mississippi shipyard they got. But what it's going to do, they also told me, that means since that shipyard is going to be busy, some of this other stuff is going to be shifted over here. We're going to get some business out of that. And we're already busy.
We talk about the cool stuff. We're talking about aerospace, and we've got some connections going on with the aerospace industry right now.
Let me tell you what, a pretty long history, and I'm sure a lot of people know the company SpaceX. If you don't know who they are, they're pretty much a household name. But
Elon Musk and
SpaceX,
company.
yeah. SpaceX, in the old days, you saw they'd launch rockets instead of just letting them go in the ocean or whatever. There were barges built that would capture these rockets. They would come down and land on the rockets. Those barges were built right here. Lee Dragna built those barges for SpaceX and captured the rockets. He's also working on some right now. Don't know what kind, if it's different, but he's working with SpaceX to get some more stuff that Lee Dragna's working on.
Yeah, it seems like every time you turn around, SpaceX has got a new way of getting things from space back to Earth.
That's right.
It's very cool that we're involved in that.
Yep.
We need to take another break. We're way up against the clock, but we will be back. Stay with us. Welcome back. Mac Wade here talking about what's going on with the area and SpaceX, of course. We talked about Lee Dragna's company. That's not the only one that's benefiting from that.
And it's not only SpaceX, Space Force, which is the U.S. federal government new Department of Services. Bollinger's doing work on one of the programs, Magellan. They're building a ship that's going to carry the capsules around. Mm-hmm. Not catch your rockets, not doing the rockets, but there's a lot of stuff going on in very high-tech industry. Ladd Services built a cable laying barge for the solar energy. The wind energy, for the wind energy. A lot of people said, well, the wind energy died. Well, it got curtailed under the new administration, there's no doubt. But this barge was put together, built with all American goods and everything. The barge was completed. It's the only Jones Act compliant barge in America that was put together right here with our technology and our people. I mean, that's something. Yeah, well, Mac, there's a lot of cable laying barge. Yeah, but they were made in Europe. Yeah. You can't come work in our U.S. waters. And but there's activity, so that barge is working. It was put together right here. And right out there, I also want to mention real quick the LNG market.
Yeah. They're making out with bandits like that out in the Lake Charles area.
Let me say this. We're fixing to be tapping into Lake Charles. We've already tapped into Plaquemine. No, we're not getting the LNG. We're not building the plants here. But all the components, it takes thousands of components. Those things are put together from all over the United States. I bet you all 50 states are probably sending stuff in. And everything is assembled in Amelia. These things are about 7 stories high. They're probably about 100 foot wide, weighing about 2,700 pounds, and all kind of components go in for these LNG plants. Performance out in Amelia built 14 of them for the Plaquemine Venture Global plant. All of those have been shipped out. They've sent the last one out in May. They said we got an order for 10 more. We'll probably be starting out in October. I go back out there in June. They got 4 I'm started right now out of the order of 10. Plus, I was out there visiting with Venture Global and Performance. They picked up CP2, which is Venture Global's new LNG plant over in Cameron. They've already got one down there. They got one up in Lake Charles. This is another one. We're going to build 14 of these modulars to go over there, but they're going to be twice as big as the ones you currently see out there. So all the shipyards, everybody's got their shingle out looking for people, which is good for the area. But a lot of activities going on, Chris. A lot of activities happening down here.
We've got about a minute left, so I'll let you bring it together with this thought. It sounds like these industries we're talking about, especially aerospace and LNG,
Yep.
we're not just talking about a lot of work. It's sustainable work, something that can go on for a long time.
I think our security of this country is going to go for a long time. If it is, guess who provides a lot of that security components? Not Port of Morgan City, but our district, our area. I mean, the Navy, Conrad's is building the Navy living quarters. They've got orders for the next several years. We're not talking, we're booked up through Christmas. 5 or 6 years from now. Venture Global tells me they're booked through 2032 in $1 million.
Very good. Appreciate your time. Hope we can have you back again soon.
Thank you very much, Chris. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next time on Voice of the Coast. Have a great evening.